Welcome. Today we're diving straight into the monumental, parallel journeys of two of India's absolute greatest musical pioneers. We are looking at two women who didn't just sing songs, right? They literally defined the soundscape of an entire century. It's this fascinating story of two incredibly distinct paths that somehow ultimately reached the exact same historic pinnacle. Let's get into it.
So we're actually going to start with the ultimate spoiler here. Back in 1998, a simple one-line communique from then-President K.R. Narayanan officially conferred India's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna, to M.S. Subbulakshmi. Starting our timeline at the absolute peak like this immediately establishes the incredible stakes and just the sheer prestige of the story we're exploring today.
And this sets up a really fascinating contrast for us. On one side, you have Carnatic classical music. This is a discipline deeply rooted in technical mastery, intense restraint, and absolute devotion. But then on the other side, you have Indian cinema playback singing, a world completely defined by runaway film hits, massive industry power, and sweeping commercial waves. One artist builds a legendary legacy on classical purity, while the other triggers a massive pop cultural phenomenon. Yet, as you'll see, their impact on the nation was equally profound.
Part 1. M.S. Subbulakshmi, Carnatic pioneer.
Now, her journey was defined by a lifetime of just ceaseless practice. Born on September 16, 1916, her path began remarkably early. At just the tender age of 10 years old, she was asked to give her first recital at a family friend's wedding in Madurai. From those humble early beginnings, her seemingly effortless music carried her all the way to the Padma Bhushan in 1954 and eventually culminated in 1998 when she became the first musician ever to receive the Bharat Ratna. She breathed her last in Chennai in 2004, but, her legacy is truly immortal.
What's amazing is that Subbulakshmi achieved something incredibly rare. She successfully blended the intuitive and the reflective elements of art in a way that, honestly, no other artist had been as successful in doing. Known famously as the Nightingale of India, she broke some major barriers. She was the very first woman recipient of the prestigious Sangeet Kalanidhi title. Plus, she didn't just keep Carnatic music in the South, she actively popularized it in North India and the West. She even sang at the United Nations, and on one particularly celebrated occasion, she performed Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan at his direct request. How incredible is that?
When her 1998 Bharat Ratna win was announced, the reaction from the absolute doyens of Indian music was electric. The renowned vocalist Pandit Jasraj noted that it was a moment of supreme glory for classical music, which was especially poignant since it happened during the Golden Jubilee year of India's independence. Another doyen of Karnataka music, Semangudi Srinivasa Iyer, expressed immense joy too, stating that both the music world and Tamil Nadu had been deeply honored by the decision.
But beneath all these historic accolades, we really must remember the profound human element here. When the president actually spoke to her over the phone before making the official announcement, eyewitnesses said M.S. Subbulakshmi was rendered completely speechless. However, that immense moment of joy was heavily tinged with sadness. Just a couple of months earlier, she had lost her husband, the freedom fighter Tyagaraja Sadasivam. It's a stark reminder of the personal realities that run right alongside these larger-than-life historical moments.
Part 2. Lata Mangeshkar, the playback queen.
Every legend has an origin point, right? For Lata Mangeshkar, the entire landscape of Indian cinema playback singing shifted forever with one specific breakthrough, the song Dil Toda from the 1948 film Mazboor. This was the spark that literally ignited an absolute firestorm in the film industry.
And the very next year saw an absolute explosion in her popularity. 1949 brought the release of 4 major films: Barsat, Andaz, Dulari, and Mahal. The songs from all 4 of these films were runaway hits, particularly the iconic track Aayiga Aane Wala from Mahal. Thanks to her distinctive, high-pitched voice, by 1950, a massive Lata wave had swept through and completely changed the entire music industry. But here's the thing you need to take away. This wasn't just about singing popular songs. Her phenomenal commercial success fundamentally shifted the power dynamics of Indian cinema. It made Lata Mangeshkar the most powerful woman in the film industry. Alongside her sister, Asha Bhosle, who came up in the late 1950s, these two sisters were the undisputed queens of Indian playback singing right up to the very end of the 20th century.
Throughout the 60s and 70s, she showcased unparalleled versatility. She sang under the direction of all the top music composers and alongside all the top playback singers of the day. She is that rare kind of artist who truly realized her search for excellence across decades of changing musical styles and shifting cultural tides.
Part 3. Two Paths, One Highest Pinnacle.
When we look at their journeys side by side, we see two distinctly different styles of music, classical devotion on one hand and commercial playback on the other. We have an array of unique industry awards, with M.S. Subbulakshmi claiming the historic Sangeet Kalanidhi and Lata Mangeshkar winning the prestigious Phalke Award for her contribution to Indian cinema. Yet, and this is the incredible part, both women were ultimately crowned with the exact same jewel, India's highest civilian award. M.S. Subbulakshmi received the Bharat Ratna in 1998, and Lata Mangeshkar followed just a few years later in 2001.
So, as we close out this explainer, I'll leave you with this thought to chew on. Knowing the ceaseless practice, the profound restraint, and the massive industry-shifting power these two women commanded, we really have to wonder, as our musical landscape continues to fragment in the modern era, what does it actually take to truly unite an entire nation in song today? Will we ever see a cultural phenomenon quite like these two legends again? Thanks so much for exploring this remarkable history with me.